Yu is an antisocial loser who befriends an extroverted girl, but she starts to develop feelings for him.
その瞳をちょうだい
It all starts when you hold the sale at his school's art convention, but fails to attract any customers due to his hideous face. By the end of the day, he only sells 5 items and realizes that he has a higher chance of getting a kitty than reaching his goal of selling 100 by tomorrow. That's when he runs into a blue-haired freak Himari, who tells him that some girls came by the store while he was gone, meaning he missed the chance to make more sales. Yu sadly believes no one would want to buy any of his stuff, but the girl reveals she actually sold 27 items while he was crying in the bathroom. She then asks him why he wants to make 100 sales, saying he heard this from Sato-sensei from the science club. She shoves her face into his to demand an answer, and Yu bricks up looking at her pretty face up close. Yu then reveals he wants to open a store when he grows up because he's too dumb to have a proper job. His parents obviously don't support his ambitions but told him he can do whatever he wants if he sells 100 items at the fair. Himari laughs so hard that she spills juice on his face and proceeds to call him an idiot for making such a harsh decision. She then notes that he only has 68 items left and decides to help him sell out the entire stock. 2 years later, Yu continues to sell flower-related accessories online through his family's convenience store. Even in school, he's created his private world where he ambitiously works on his craft and creates more items for his store. He's also gotten really close to Himari in the meantime, who often comes to bother him while he's working. As they engage in some friendly physical banter, Yu recalls treating Himari after the fair and even gifting him a choker to show gratitude, which she wears to this day. Himari revealed she was stalking him for days and noticed his enthusiasm for flowers, so she decided to support his business. However, she ended up calling for a huge favor from her brother, and as payment, she demanded Yu's dull eyes. She noted his eyes light up when he worked on his craft, so he made him promise to never lose his passion and have his eyes light up every day for her. At present, Yu asks Himari about a talent agency that reached out to her, but she says she turned them down because she'll be busy helping him in the shop. She even jokes that she'll marry him if he doesn't open the store by age 30, and Yu asks her not to make such jokes because her brother Hibari has started treating him like he's his brother-in-law. Himari says the only way to stop him is if Yu marries someone else, but with a face only a mother can love. His chances of scoring are not very high. Himari asks him to touch some grass and get a shoddy on his ding-dong, but Yu argues he can't get any because she's all over him in front of the other girls. Himari says she never had trouble scoring guys, completely forgetting that she's cute while Yu looks like a poorly drawn NPC. She then goes into the fact that she belongs to a long line of nobles and might have to marry for family politics, but when Yu offers to compensate, she bursts out laughing because he totally bought into her fake story. At night, Yu returns home to the only kitty in his life, the Fuku, and recalls Himari telling him that she never finds any guy interesting other than him. Since both of them can't seem to get a good partner, Himari proposes they marry each other if the heir is still loners by 30. Yu tries to play it cool and says he prefers a more modest girl, and Himari excitedly jumps on his back because this is the first time she's ever been rejected. Later, Yu brings the batch orders to his sister Saku, who scolds him for coming without texting first. The next day, a guy walks up to Himari and tells her she can do much better than Yu, but she quickly stops his advances. She then questions if the friendship between a girl and a guy is just a myth, wondering if it's just a means to ride Yu's monster truck. She then tells herself that she's completely okay with Yu dating other girls, but it'll be sad if they have to part ways because of that. Meanwhile, Yu runs into a pretty girl at the vending machine and notes she's wearing a bracelet he sold 2 years ago at the fair. Just then, the bracelet breaks and the girl falls into despair. Seeing the damsel in distress, Yu mans up and offers to fix it for her, when under normal circumstances he can barely talk to anyone other than Himari. The girl sternly asks him what he wants, and Yu goes back to being a wuss immediately after. During class, Himari keeps texting Yu to ask more about the girl he met, but when he starts scolding him by raising his voice, the teacher tells him not to interrupt Himari's studies. After class, Himari asks more about the girl, but Yu doesn't even remember selling anything to her. Just then, his friend Makishima shows up and claims Yu for himself, which starts a war between him and Himari. Later, Yu tells them to get along because they used to date few years ago, but Himari says it was only because she was bored. She further adds that Makishima had 5 girlfriends at the time, yet she was the only one bullied for dating him. Makishima says it's her own fault for dating someone she didn't like, starting yet another fight between the two. Yu then asks for the purpose of his visit, and Makishima mentions the girl he ran into at the vending machine. He then asks her to come out of hiding, and as she says hi, Himari realizes the girl he met is Rin. Later, they discuss how Rin and Makishima have been friends for many years but got separated because they went to separate schools. She also reveals she and Rin used to hang out sometimes because Rin is in his brother's class. 2 years ago, Rin's sister promoted his flower stall, and since then, she's become a fashion icon who is all over the magazines. Himari believes Rin got the bracelet from her sister, and Yu agrees she might have no idea he made it. They invite her to Yu's workshop, where she presents the locket and sternly tells him to fix it at all cost. Himari intervenes, telling her to go easy on Yu because he has zero social skills, much like you guys. Rin says she's being polite but then gets startled when Himari puts a mirror in front of her face, revealing her frowning expression. She throws a tantrum demanding Yu fix the locket, and when Himari starts making fun of her, she grabs him by the face and tells him not to push her luck. Amid their fight, Himari suddenly starts squeezing Rin's honkadonkas, earning her an even worse beatdown. Later, as Himari sits there in shame, Yu finally starts working while Rin watches him closely. She notes that he has completely zoned out, and Himari explains he always goes into a trance while working, to the point that he can't even hear them talking. After a while, Yu finally fixes the locket and breaks out of the trance, only to find numerous hairbands in his hair, courtesy of Himari. Yu panics trying to get them off, and both girls share a moment of laughter. Rin then puts on the bracelet and thanks Yu for fixing it. As walks home, Rin asks if they're dating, but Himari tells her they have been best friends for 2 years. She reveals she is fascinated by Yu's passion for work and wonders if they'll still be friends when he stops working. As it starts to pour, they take shelter on the roadside, and Rin asks her if she's ever been in a one-sided relationship with someone. When Himari asks for details, she pulls up a picture of her, explaining that she has been in love with the person who crafted the accessories she wears. Now that she knows it's Yu, Himari realizes she isn't the only one who sees Yu for who he is, and believing their friendship would last forever now seems like wishful thinking to her. The next day, while his cat is munching, Yu is having breakfast and realizes he hasn't talked to other than Himari in a very long time. Just then, his sister Saku enters and says he looks like he got the life sucked out of him. Yu then tells him about the whole Rin situation, and she believes it is a good incentive, explaining how he only makes accessories to get Himari on his meat saber, and they all end up looking the same. She also advises him to put other emotions, like the deep despair of rejection, but when he argues the sales are good, Saku reminds him he hasn't had a returning customer in ages. She then reminds him of his promise that if he fails to open his own store by 30, he will have to take over their family's store. She also jokes about him marrying Himari, but Yu walks out in frustration. In class, he reflects on Saku's words and realizes he might need to bring a change soon. Later, Makishima stops Rin in the halls to remind her that he won't let anyone near Yu, but Himari soon shows up and the two start arguing. Just then, some girls ask Makishima to watch them play, and Himari immediately recognizes them as the pick-me Twitch thoughts from the tennis club. After Makishima leaves to clap them shotties, Himari thinks of a plan and meets Yu in the garden while he's tending to the flowers. She asks why he looked so down in class, and Yu explains he's planning on changing the theme in his next batch of accessories by adding passionate romance and despair of rejection. Himari is super happy to see him take interest in such topics, and later encourages him to follow Saku's advice because it'll increase the sales. She also tells him to theme it around romance because his customers are mostly girls. Yu asks why she's interested in romance, and she says it's because she is super popular and a lot of guys ask her out. She then yaps about how a girl wants to kiss the boy she has feelings for, and even the desire to become his wife also falls into the same category. She then asks what kind of girls he is into, but Yu brushes it off because he genuinely doesn't care. He admits he never had the urge to kiss a girl when looking at her, so she sheepishly offers to kiss him for experience.
Are you serious?
Yu starts blushing and asks if she sees him as a man, but Himari says he's just her best friend. She then admits she hasn't kissed anyone before, so if they were to try on each other, they could understand romance better. While Yu is wondering if she hit her head on a shelf, she suddenly cuddles up to him and says holding hands is the same as kissing without emotions because it's just a contact of skin. She also admits she likes holding hands with him and then confidently asks if he'd like to kiss her. Yu starts to think it is one of her tricks.
You can do it!
But as she comes closer, he sees her red cheeks and wonders if she's really going to kiss him. Just at the last second, he closes his eyes, but Rin suddenly starts laughing at him, making him realize she was just teasing him. When he says she's gone too far, she promises to make it up to him and asks him to clear his schedule on Saturday. On Saturday, he finds himself on a road trip with Hibari, who says he misses Yu because he doesn't visit that often anymore. After warming up, He tells you that he and Saka used to be classmates, and he likes her straightforwardness. He further says how Saku was a genius in class, which makes you wonder if one of them is adopted. However, Kiberi says he's nothing less than Saku because of his skill in creating accessories. He drops you at the mall, where he meets Himari, who has been waiting for him for a while. She inspects his clothes and tells him to stop dressing like a homeless New Yorker, but you quickly realizes she just wants him to match her energy. You counters that Hibari made him rush here, and he didn't have the time to pick something nice for himself. Himari then reveals she's joined by a special guest today, who happens to be none other than Rin. As they visit a restaurant, you nervously asks about Makishima, but Rain says he is busy with club activities. Noticing the awkwardness between them, you believes Rin is a glitched NPC who forgets how to talk after you exhaust his dialogue. Himari creeps in and asks if he's thought of his new batch, and when he says no, she tells him to challenge himself this time. She then reveals that Rin is willing to become a model for his next batch of accessories. You asks why she told Rin about his hobby, but Rain says she guessed after he fixed her bracelet. Himari then says Rin wanted to repay him for helping her, so she asked her to model for him. She even says he's lucky to have two Kibis model for him, but Yu is a little hesitant because he hasn't warmed up to Rin. Himari believes he'll figure it out and reveals they'll be shooting at Rin's confectionery shop. Yu worries they'll mess with the business, so Rin suggests shooting it during the holidays. Rin excuses herself to discuss it with her mother, and in her absence, Yu asks Himari to go a little easy on her. However, Himari says she's a shy one and they won't get anywhere without pushing her. Later, they head to the store where Yu excitedly buys new stuff for work. He then picks some stuff that suits Rin but makes sure she isn't creeped out by it. Rin says she's fine, but Himari purposely calls him creepy because she can't live without teasing him. When Yu gets all red and flustered, Rin finds it cut and lets out a quiet laugh. Later, Himari notices that Rin has good skin, so they should include it in the shoots. After seeking her permission, Yu leaves to find a necklace, but Himari urges him to put it on her. Rin hesitantly says she's okay with it, and Yu starts to think she doesn't see him as a man. However, when he leans in to put the necklace on her, she goes all red and moist, just like your mom when she sees a you-know-what. Himari notices this and comments that Rin's dress is revealing, which makes her blush even more. However, she is unable to tolerate her nonsense and grabs her by the nape. Demanding that she cut the BS later, they head to the florist to buy some flowers for the photo shoot, and Rin is mesmerized by some thick purple flowers. However, she quickly gets embarrassed and maintains her distance from Yu. Yu then asks Himari for suggestions, and when she asks him to pick roses, he says it reminds her of Rin, who is thorny yet honest. Himari then leaves to get drinks, and on the way, she decides to set Yu up with Rin because she believes they understand each other. Yu takes the moment to apologize to Rin, but she says he doesn't have to because it was Himari's fault. She also reveals that Himari used to be quieter and would read books all day when they went to school together, so her mother asked her to befriend her. Rin used cookies to get closer to Himari, but you can't imagine her keeping her mouth shut for even a minute. He then asks Rin what flowers she likes, and she says she prefers them big. Yu then decides to pick a flower that's pretty like her and eventually picks a tulip. He explains how tulip opens differently than other flowers, but soon realizes he might be coming off as a nerd. He then admits he didn't have any friends, so he was never interested in sports or games, and people kept telling him that his habit of flowers was boring. When he decides to skedaddle, Rin grabs his shirt and politely asks him why he likes flowers so much. Yu believes she's just trying to be nice since he helped her out, but Rin's eyes make it clear that she is genuinely interested in getting to know him better. Yu then reveals he loves Kuma the Night because of its unique smell, and it is so precious that he puts his heart and soul to ensure the flower blooms. He also tells her about the time he went to a florist with his family but got separated. That's when he ran into a girl who was crying all by herself, and as the two walked together, he realized she was lost too. The two started looking for their parents together, and before they parted ways, he bought her a flower that she promised to wear every day in her hair. You knew that the flower will dry soon, but that encounter made him into a flower enthusiast, and if he took care of them, they might last longer. He did this because he wanted to feel connected to that girl, but now he feels too awkward talking about it. Rin quickly comments that the flower that girl wore must have been a hibiscus, describing in detail how it was blooming red at that time. She even remembers you telling that girl that the color red suits her, and even though she hated red back then, she started to love the color since then. She then says that Yu's method of connecting with that girl has worked, because she is the same girl he met all those years ago. Seeing them connect so well, Himari leaves the drinks and heads home first. Later, Yu calls to make sure she's okay, but she doesn't pick up. Rin then asks if he's okay with exchanging numbers, and he nervously agrees. Meanwhile, Himari is already in her bed with her phone in her hand, but she throws it away in anger. She recalls Rin telling her that her sister brought her the bracelet she wears. It reminded him of the boy she met at the florist. Himari immediately connected the dots because she had heard the same story from Yu countless times, and she believes it is fate that has brought them together. This is why she wanted to help them, but the moment she left, she realized they didn't need her help at all. She is happy for both of them, but she is also a little sad because she's never seen Yu look so happy before. That's it for this video. Leave a like you enjoy and subscribe to the channel for part 2. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.